I'm Grady.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Charisse.
And welcome to Highlights, a show where we recap a reality competition show, usually a drag one, like it's sports, even though it's not. This season, we are covering season 14 of RuPaul's Drag Race. Last week's episode was Save a Queen, where the queens were tasked with recording a PSA for first eliminated queens from past seasons of Drag Race. So, the episode opens up with a shocking twist as the queens notice somehow after they've walked through the entire soundstage and then waited to be let on the set and until they're gathered at the table, when they finally notice that Kornbread is missing. I don't know where they thought she was. And then it's revealed that Kornbread, like many a queen now before her, has been injured during the challenge and by doctor's orders has to be off her ankles for like 6 to 8 weeks, which is like she must have messed that thing up. And I'm like, what did she eat? I guess rolling off the coffee table or something, like filming. I was like, what and when did you do it? Because then she strutted down the runway. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, that's right. Because here I am thinking that they did some sort of like cheerleading, like physical something, whatever.
Yeah.
She did all that stuff to herself.
Yeah.
Getting up on the table, jumping around, staying at 100 the entire time.
She like Emma Roberts screamed forward herself, like, I guess, in the challenge and just tore herself apart. Anyway, she's dead.
That's definitely how they treat it, though. It's definitely like she passed away.
It is very like
it's very
memorial. Yeah, they get a message from the further or wherever she went to, and it's like this video message where she says goodbye. Willow starts bawling like she's never gonna see her again. Also, like she didn't just meet her like a week and a half ago.
But here's the thing. She's one of RuPaul's favorites. So, of course, RuPaul's going to give her extra airtime because she's going to be back in a later season.
Yeah. Weird, though, that they didn't confirm automatically that she would be back. Did they? I don't think so.
Oh, normally they did. Yeah, normally he's like, she'll be back. You have an open invitation to next season.
Right.
Oh,
blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
I don't remember hearing her say that.
For this week's challenge, they have to, again, create a PSA. Whoa. Threw a little flair into that. PSA. They have to record a PSA for first eliminated queens. So RuPaul brings into the workroom. Who did he bring in? I'm forgetting one of them.
James Mansfield.
Tempest DeJour, and Kimora Hall.
Tempest was the one I was forgetting.
Can we talk about how uncomfortable the mini challenge to select the teams was, particularly for Maddie?
Yeah. So to select the teams, they split up the 3 returning first eliminated queens amongst the group. And to split up all of the group into the separate teams, they have to like sexually assault the pit crew and pop glitter balloons. It was really weird. And then they make Maddie do it. Like, you signed up for this. You know? I guess.
Like, I know this isn't something we haven't done on the show before, but did we have to choose to do it the season that we like as a straight drag queen? Like, yeah. I don't know. It made me uncomfortable watching it.
Yeah.
I mean, I know one of those 2 pit crew is straight, so it's almost like it has to do with your own comfort level, but it definitely seemed like Maddie was uncomfortable.
I just think it's weird that we still have this kind of stuff. And I just feel like it speaks to a larger issue that requires a very lengthy and separate video.
I agree.
And longer discussion. Because I've always had some thoughts about this kind of stuff and what the message, I guess, RuPaul is conveying by doing it. you know, anyways, it was rough, but they get split up into teams. And those teams are Team Tempest is Angeria, Deja Sky, Georges, and Carrie Colby. Team James is Jasmine, Maddie, Orion, Story, and Willow Pill. And Team Kimura is only made up of Bosco, Diabetti, and Lady Camden. So then they have to film the PSA with Michelle Visage, and they had to write a rhyme, like a rhyming portion, so it makes like a long poem almost, when all put together. And then they had to collectively write their own stuff, about why they should be saving this queen and what the donations will do. And it had to be very serious, but also very funny, which was a challenge for some people.
Willow, Angeria, and that was all who really, and Bosco. Those three stood out for me as far as being exceptionally good. Mm-hmm. Maddie for taking feedback and then running with it. Yeah. She wasn't like the best, but she did take the constructive criticism from Michelle really well.
Maddie Morphosis did take the criticism, that definitely for sure. Like, I wonder what her first few takes looked like, because she hit middle of the road for me. The challenge gave us a look at different queens and different strengths and weaknesses that they might not have otherwise shown had it not been a randomized group and done the way that it was done.
Mm-hmm. That's very true. It's time to go to the main stage. And we get RuPaul in this lacy, it's springtime. It's on point, I suppose. Kind of dress. It's not much, but it is pretty, and it is there.
And it's on. It is better than what she wore to UK versus the world.
And look, I'm wearing heels and the whole thing. No one can talk shit about me today.
Yes. Michelle looks great also. Very simple outfit today, but she looks very, very nice. Ava Max is the guest judge this week. She's fun. I like a couple of her songs. She's a good bopper. And Ross Matthews, I actually really liked Ross's shirt this week. I was like, I kind of want that.
Me too.
Yeah, it looked really, really good on him.
Before we get to the runway, let's talk about the actual PSA. Just so we can spend some time later on the actual runways. But the PSA, when we finally get a look at the finished product, is one long, really long PSA infomercial. And it does, in fact, feature a cameo by Sarah McLachlan herself, which I thought was genius and way too short. They need to book her again. But I actually enjoyed this a lot more than I thought I was going to, based on what was being filmed.
I laughed so much. I was dying. It was fantastic.
Oh, it was good. It was great.
Carrie Colby. I don't know.
Oh.
Okay. I need to take a deep breath because I don't mean anything in disrespect. As a communications major, she is very beautiful. Okay, I'm going to try to sandwich this. She is very beautiful. If that was her interpretation of being ugly or being campy or letting herself relax enough to be herself, to show us a different side of herself, like the funny side of herself, I don't think that she succeeded. And I was almost offended. I was like, what is that wig? What are we doing right now? Like, you put on some glasses and that makes you ugly? I wear glasses. How dare you? Like, that's not it. I can still be sexy and wear glasses. What the heck? I was really confused by what she brought in the PSA and even more confused by what she brought to the runway, but I'll save those comments for later.
So the runway theme tonight was Spring Has Sprung. And first up, we have Georges.
It was gorgeous. I love Georges
Mhm.
on the runway. Oh my goodness. Her spring has sprung. Her hair. Oh my goodness.
She looked cute.
Yes, I loved her runway.
It was like close enough to her lane that she could really excel in it. What I wrote was, it was elevated, but is it elevated enough compared to what she's already brought? Not that I didn't like the look, because I really did like the look, but she's brought very similar things to it, so I thought that was going to kind of work against her.
Then we had Carrie Colby.
This wasn't elevated to the point where I thought it should have been, but I could tell that she made it, and I could tell this wasn't wearing her. She was wearing this.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciated that compared to her just being a doll.
Yeah.
And something to look at. I got more creativity from this look than I've gotten from all of the other looks that she has brought so far.
I will agree. It was absolutely more creativity than what she has brought so far. I was still left wondering, what was that? It looked thrown together. And she proved me right when they had a little chat about everything on the runway. But I definitely appreciated her trying to step out of her comfort zone and do something different than what we've seen before.
Then we had Angeria, which was weird. I was kind of disappointed in it.
Yeah.
And not that, and she's still weirdly beautiful in it, but it's just not the Angeria we've become accustomed to, I think. And so it's kind of a letdown. And I feel like she knows it.
This was very safe for spring.
Uh-huh.
This could have been a lot more. Like, the colors were great. Like, the color palette she chose to go with the outfit were great. But it did feel a little basic. Not quite the level that she's brought.
She was, she was in a weird mood when she served it. She was in a weird mood on Untucked. She was in a weird mood on the stage. I think she kind of knew. I don't think she was as confident this week. And I think she also knew, or felt at least, that she wasn't as confident in this runway as she has been in her previous ones.
Yeah.
And it really showed. Then we had Deja Sky, one of two bunny rabbits we get this evening.
Is that what she was?
Yeah, that's what her mask is. It's a rabbit.
Oh my gosh, I didn't realize that either. I love the mask.
Uh-huh.
When I saw it later in Untucked, I was like, oh my gosh, that's fantastic. I didn't even see that on the runway, but I didn't understand the rest of it.
The mask was the only thing about her outfit that I remembered. Everything else, I completely forgot.
It's a rabbit mask, and she's carrying a little basket. It's like very Easter bunny, but like dressed up.
She had a really lovely lace, long sleeve, high neck, something on, and then some purple something that didn't make sense underneath that, or like on the bottom. But I loved the top.
Yeah. She had these giant purple pants on, and they weren't like shaped at all. And it's not very flattering. The top, though, is actually really nice on her. Then we had Metamorphosis, who went down the runway as the springtime rain. And I'll be honest, I kind of lived for it. And I don't know, like, how you construct a cloud like that, but I thought the cloud was really awesome looking.
The cloud was amazing, but why did she cover her face?
Yeah, which I don't have a problem with if there was a way she could like reveal it or something, or something a little more magical to it. Yeah.
Yeah. In Untucked, it was beautiful. Her makeup has gone so far in just a few weeks.
Even the color she added to her hair was really cool.
Yep. And I love that because she knew nobody was going to see her hair anyway, but she still did it. And I kind of like that detail. Next, we had Jasmine Kennedy.
Who?
Who indeed, especially with this look. Yeah. Yes.
The boots were terrible. The bodysuit was beautiful, but
yeah,
it was just the corset that was beaded.
Yep. And then that was it. Next we had Orion Story, who was the other bunny.
It was boring.
Yeah, it was really
when she
boring.
walked out, I was like, this is boring as hell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look at Playboy Bunny. Get out of here.
It's oddly enough the most lively I think I've ever seen her, and that's saying a lot because this is still not much. Well,
even in Untucked, when they were telling her like maybe that, you know, like when Diabetes was like, well, I wouldn't blame it on that. And she's like, yeah, I guess so. Like, it's just very flatline. Like,
yeah. She's like,
where are you?
I'm very upset about maybe going home tonight.
The only affect I've seen her show was in Untucked. And that was when they were talking to a different competitor about, like, it was Georges or one of the other girls that was in the bottom. And they were comforting her, and she just looked not confused, but like hurt. All the rest of the time, she just looks confused.
Yeah.
And
no one's talking to me. I feel really bad about this.
Do they think I'm not gonna win?
I'm laughing
I'm gonna
so
slay
hard
the competition,
right now.
hunties.
Yeah.
I'm having so much fun.
I came to slay the house down boots.
You made me laugh so hard just now.
Anyway, that was Orion. Next we had Willow Pill.
Willow Pill.
Yeah, who came out not only as Spring, but a springtime house. This was adorable. I thought it was super cute. Yeah, it was great.
It was so funny.
And then she had the ridiculous add-on of putting help in blood on the back with the little handprint, which makes no sense, but I loved it anyway. And I love that she took it there. Just a really weird place.
It was like Stepford Wives and Spring. I was so here for it. I am so here for Willow's really dark yet bright sense of humor. Like I love the contrast. I'm here for it. She gives me life.
I love that Willow just like for every challenge and competition is like, I'm just gonna do what's true to me and what I think is funny, and whether it reads or not, whatever. I'm just gonna do it. And every time it has worked out so well, and I've loved almost everything she's put out.
So then there was Diabetes, who came out as like a springtime nymph elf thing, but it was.
So she was springtime crystal method.
The most frustrating part is that she can't, like, everyone else but her can see it. She's like in Untucked, she's like, I just don't know what I'm doing wrong. And it's like, all of us do. And you seem to be the only one who doesn't see that you saw Crystal Method put on a look and you're like, I'm going to do that and only that and never customize it to what I actually want to do.
Next up, we had Lady Camden, who came out as springtime tea. In a cute little tabletop dress with the teacup on her head, and then she spilt the tea out of her head. It was very cute. I loved it. And I thought this was actually a very strong week for Lady Camden. It was really good to see her flourish, especially, you know, the Central Valley Queens aren't doing that bad. Even Deja Sky, they seem to really like Deja Sky, and she's got a lot of underlying talent that's brewing in there. Is it where I think it needs to be? No, but I think she's got a lot of potential, and I think I underestimated her at least a little bit. And Lady Camden, Sacramento, I mean, she's from the UK, obviously, but she's from Sacramento now, and she's doing really good. Yeah, she's doing really well. Good for her.
For sure, absolutely. I'm liking the growth of Lady Camden and Deja Sky. I'm liking the more that I see of them, I'm liking more of them. They're definitely growing on me.
Bosco, since we're talking about her, fantastic runway. And this is what I wish Maddie had done. Not exactly this, but something like this, where you add to it. You take it to kind of just a little further.
I love Bosco this week. The only thing, like, if I had to scrounge up, dig up a critique somewhere, I wish that the yellow was maybe a little bit sparkly, and that would be it. Just to highlight that sunny day, but that would be it. I love the wig. I love the way it was styled, the eyebrows, the makeup, all of it. I loved that it's just, you can keep it simple sometimes. Just kiss method that. You don't need to make it complicated.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be wind machines and confetti.
And our returning queens also got to stomp the runway. And first we had Tempest du Jour, who was there and
present.
Of all the things, if you get to stomp the runway again, why would you choose that? I don't. I think she has to have better outfits in her closet. I swear I've seen her in one at one of the RuPaul freaking finales. Like,
yeah. It's just very simple and dated for me. So I was like, really? This, though? To represent you? You know?
Wah, wah.
Since we didn't get enough of you before, like, this is what you brought, I guess. I thought she was more fascinating the rest of the episode than when she actually came on the runway.
Yeah.
Then we had James Mansfield, very on brand.
He was cute.
Yeah, and they've really had a little comeback. They've had a bit of a Sonique love moment where they're starting to be in a little bit more stuff, right? And come around the block a little bit and gain a bigger following again. And I think we'll get James Mansfield back fairly soon, to be honest with you. Especially after this episode. Very, very likable, very memorable. And I bet the fans will react to that as well. So I think this was a good night actually for James Mansfield. And this is the opportunity Tempest du Jour should have taken.
For sure. Even in the candid interviews, in the confessional, James Mansfield was super funny.
Yep.
And we didn't see that many confessional like clips of Tempest du Jour or Kimora Hall. I mean, yeah, they were in there, but I don't remember them being as funny or as memorable. They were just there.
Right. And then speaking of Kimora Hall, she comes also very on brand. Bob Mackie and all. That being said, she looks beautiful. It was hard to argue with it.
She always looks beautiful. She looks beautiful.
She does.
I know there's nothing else. She looks beautiful.
I know. But it was weird because when she came around the hall, the corner, me and RuPaul at the same time were just like, ooh.
In unison.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, like me and RuPaul actually agree on something, which is crazy.
Well, I mean, she has great taste in Bob Mackie clothes, but they're Bob Mackie.
Yeah.
Did Bob Mackie make a bad dress? And if he did, I'd really like to see it.
She's like, no, really, put it before me.
Right. She can't go wrong. You literally cannot make a mistake if you only wear Bob Mackie and can beat your face. How are you going to go wrong?
Right. So for tops this week, Bosco's in the top, Angeria's in the top, and Lady Camden's in the top, which I agreed with. I thought they were all three pretty strong. It was hard to argue with that. I will say out of the three, Angeria is probably on the bottom of that list for me, which is probably the lowest she's dropped so far. Bottoms this week are Jasmine Kennedy, Georges, and Orion Story, which I also agreed with. And I thought that was pretty clear from beginning to end this episode as well. So then out of our tops, Bosco is announced as being the winner of this week's challenge, winning $5,000 and finally getting a decent spot on the scoreboard. Like I said, I feel like Bosco's emerging a bit, especially with the power vacuum that is Kornbread Gone. And Jasmine Kennedy is told she's safe, and then Georges and Orion Story have to lip sync.
I didn't know how much I needed Georges to lip sync in my life until she did last night. That lip sync was everything.
Yeah,
her hair, the fact that she took the gown off, the fact that she was ready with her little Britney Spears costume underneath. I loved her lip sync. Orion Story was not ready for that. She had nowhere to go in the costume that she was wearing, in the runway that she decided to wear. It was just, I lived for it.
Take her shoes off.
And that, I don't.
She fell apart all over the runway.
Her wig almost fell off.
In every sense of the phrase.
No, every sense of the phrase fell apart. But Georges, oh my gosh.
He threw her whole pussy into that lip sync.
And with that, Orion's story is told to sashay away, and her chocolate bar is chocolate.
Womp womp.
Yep.
Thank goodness.
I know. And so off she goes. Again, she's already been eliminated before. She got eliminated again.
What was her exit thing? You had it right the first time?
You heard it the first time. So when she was eliminated the first time, she said her catchphrase. Yeah.
Ouch. Had to pack how many times?
Yeah, I know. Okay, it's time for top tweets. All right. Getting into the scoreboard. So we're finally starting to get somewhere. As always, these are the competitors we started with, and here's who we have left. So in a weird way, we had a double elimination this episode, with Kornbread being disqualified and forfeiting her spot after injuring her ankle and coming in 12th place, and then Orion's story being eliminated again and coming in 11th place. Up for elimination, so now Georges has added her name to this list, along with Carrie Colby, Maddie Morphosis, and Deja Sky, who've all been up for elimination one time. And then there's Diabetes, who's not only been up for elimination, but again has actually been eliminated and brought back. That being said, that's how things shake out for challenge wins and current rankings. Angeria still the front runner with 2 challenge wins under her belt. Willow Pill and Bosco now tied for second with a single challenge win each. Lady Camden, the only person who's been safe the entire time, middle ground so far, coming in third. Jasmine Kennedy, Carrie Colby, Deja Sky, Maddie Morphosis, and Georges all kind of in danger of circling the drain, as they've all been up for elimination, but survived the lip sync. And Diabetes still not really bouncing back from being eliminated completely and then being saved, having been safe completely since that happened.
I feel like Diabetes needs to go home since she hasn't stepped it up after being brought back.
I do. I think she's the next one in line. I will agree.
I would have to agree. I'm definitely, Diabetes next on the eliminated list for me.
This week's episode is Glamazon Prime. And the premise for this episode is that the queens have to construct outfits with random items Michelle Visage has ordered online impulsively. But there you have it. That catches us all up, and I'm excited for the next episode and to finally start mowing down some queens, which is finally feels like we're getting to. That being said, you can watch all of our past and ongoing coverage of season 14 of RuPaul's Drag Race right here on PG Media, along with a bunch of other awesome content if you want to check that out right now. Subscribe today so you don't miss out. And with that being said, as always,
thank you for watching highlights. 5 to the
and we'll see you next time.